I'm so honored to be with Steve Riley. He's a Grammy Award winner, you all know that already, and a founding member of Steve Riley and the Mamu Playboys. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, you started in the music business very young. Let's talk about that.
I grew up in Mamu, and my mom's family is from there. My dad's family is from here in Eunice. And so I grew up hearing Cajun music in my grandparents' homes on the weekends. I would hear in Mamu, Cyprian and Adam Landreneau would play at house parties for my grandparents in Mamu. And in Eunice, my cousin Mark Savoy and Dennis McGee would play house parties at my grandparents' home in Eunice. So, I can remember as early as 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, hearing Cajun music and hearing the accordion. That instrument grabbed me more than any other, maybe because it was the loudest and the most dynamic and most rhythmic of all the instruments. So from a young age, I really loved the sound of the accordion and of Cajun music.
And at a young age, too, if you're grabbing the loudest instrument, it's also getting the attention of all the adults as well. A little bit?
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think I just liked the instrument, I thought it was cool. And Mark Savoy was my favorite accordionist, my hero. And he's a great player, and that probably had a lot to do with it.
And you went from that, I guess, time period in your life all the way to, it was 1988 when you formed Steve Riley and the Mamu Playboys. And during that era, that was the hair band rock era. So that really took a lot of courage to kind of say, you know what, I'm going to do something completely different from what everybody else is doing. Tell me about that.
Well, Cajun music is what I loved. I didn't really care for the pop music of the 80s. In high school, I was listening to the Balfour Brothers and the Savoy Deuce Band, while my friends were listening to Foreigner and Toto and, all the 80s stuff.
What kind of response did you get from them when you said, hey, I'm playing the accordion, I'm doing my own gigs, you guys can go listen to that music, but I'm on stage, I'm performing?
Yeah, they would make fun of me.
Yeah?
But I was in a rock band in high school with some friends, and I'd always pull the accordion out and we'd do some Cajun tunes. So we met each other halfway. People in Mamu loved when we would break out the accordion and play the Mardi Gras song. And, on the weekends, I was lucky. I got to travel with Dewey Balfour, who I was playing with since age 15. So I would travel all over the United States with him when he needed. And, my friends were back at home being bag boys at the local grocery store, so I definitely had the best of it.
Now, how was the parent situation when you were going, hey, I'm touring, a lot of gigs are in bars and clubs, and Fred's and Mamu. How did your parents feel about you being so young going into those kind of establishments to perform?
Well, when I was a teenager, when I was 17, I actually got a gig at a bar downtown across the street from Fred's. And it lasted for a couple of months. It was great until the ABC board walked in.
Whoopsie.
And saw these teenagers playing, and that was the end of that.
But,
in Mamu, everybody knows everybody, and Eunice as well, and this is where I played the most when I was young. And we also played a lot in restaurants, in mulots, which was big when we started in the late 80s, the Playboys. So it's not a bad scene.
It doesn't seem to be. It seems like it's done well for you, kind of branching out and doing your own thing apart from all those 80s rockers. Now, for you personally, you have traveled and toured all over the place. Has there been one particular place that's really kind of stood out for you that, wow, the people here responded so differently or were so open to Cajun music that you wouldn't have expected?
So, is there a place outside of Louisiana?
Yes.
I tell you what, this music gets a great response everywhere we play. A lot of people are just really interested, I find, in Cajun music, Cajun culture. It's just a very unique, exotic thing to people who don't live here. And the music is infectious, and it's energetic, and even though people don't know how to dance, they're on the floor doing it, And we do a lot of sit-down concerts as well. And there's just a great story behind the Cajun people, you know, the history of our people, the history of the music, what we've had to go through since we left France many years ago. And so there's a lot of great stories and a lot of great music.
And we'll come back with more great stories with Steve Riley right after this. Welcome back to LA South. We're back with Steve Riley from Steve Riley and the Mamu Playboys, Grammy Award winner. Now, you aren't just performing with Steve Riley and the Mamu Playboys. Who else do you perform with?
You know, we're really lucky down here. There's so many great musicians, and I'm lucky to be in a few other bands with some great musicians. There's another band I'm in that I started with C.C. Adcock and Warren Storm in 1995. It's called the Little Band of Gold. It's a swamp pop.
They're awesome.
Band.
I've heard you guys. And Warren Storm, oh my goodness. How old is he now?
He's 75 and still going strong.
Unbelievable.
It's a force of nature. The force of nature. And so I have that group, and also the Band Courtbouillon, which is a pretty amazing acoustic band. I think a few people have heard about them recently. But you know, we got together one time and played. The next time we got together was in the studio, and we made the record that just won the Grammy. So it's, you know, an amazing story behind that whole.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that collaboration, how that came about from, well, just tell me the story.
Well, Wilson and Wayne were hanging out and talking, and Wayne, I think, told Wilson we should start a band, an acoustic band, and have Steve Riley play in it and call it Courtbouillon. And so Wilson put together a gig at Cafe des Amis in Roe Bridge for his birthday. I think it was maybe Wayne's birthday is around the same time. I don't know. But we got together and played, and we were supposed to play from 7 to 9, and we didn't stop till 11:30.
Goodness, I want you guys at my birthday party. I know the audience does too. So where did it go from there to all of a sudden, there's the Grammy?
Well, Joel was there that night, and he said, look, y'all should really get together and make a record. Just do it at my studio. And the next time we got together was right here.
Valco Records.
Yeah.
And,
Easiest record, loosest record I've ever made. Yeah.
and did you think, because you've been nominated before, this is going to be the one? Because you guys were just kind of playing around, having fun.
I never said to myself, this will be the one, you know. I just, you just never know. After 6 nominations, you know, and not winning, you never know.
When you heard you were not at the Grammys, where were you?
I was at home, getting ready to go to play at Pat's Chafalaya Club, and Wilson and his band, the Pine Leaf Boys, were playing, and we were going to play after them. And I found out I was at home, upstairs with my son, and I was just moved to tears. You know, I just grabbed him and hugged him and told my wife and everybody there, and we just hugged and celebrated. And it was hard to get out of the house and get to the Patch, you know, and it's just really emotional. It's as big as it gets in our line of work.
Well, everybody at Pat's just had to be, oh, the best crowd ever.
It was a great Mardi Gras.
Well, we're looking for more Grammy wins with Steve Riley, and we'll be back with the performance up next. with Mark Mouton of CCA. And what is CCA, Mark?
CCA is the Coastal Conservation Association, and it's an organization made up of about 12 or 15 of the coastal states, and we work to preserve the marine resources and the fisheries in the states in which we operate.
Well, we definitely have coastline here in Louisiana.
That we do.
Now tell me, what's going on with CCA right here? You've got a special event going on.
We do. We have our banquet, which is held once a year. It's the Acadiana Banquet, so your viewers from St. Landry are certainly welcome, and any of the other surrounding parishes.
9 parishes.
We'll take you. And if you're a hunter or a fisherman or an outdoorsman, you've heard of the CCA. We're the guys with the red fish stickers on the back of the cars and the trucks that says join CCA. And at our banquet on the 16th of April, Tuesday, April 16th, you can do just that at the Hyman Center.
Now, what is going on at this banquet? Obviously, the Hyman is a really nice place. I'm sure the food is going to be delicious, but what happens at the banquet?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, it's a fundraiser for the CCA. We generate the majority of our operating funds from our banquets around the state. This is an opportunity for you to come out, one, to join CCA, to join the Star Tournament. We'll talk about the Star Tournament a little bit later on. But it also gives you a chance to bid on things and to buy things that you normally probably couldn't get. And this year there's some unbelievable deals that they have. I saw last night at our meeting, there's a trip to Kona, Hawaii, 3 days of fishing on a 54-foot boat, and the house is included.
Ooh, nice.
And last year it went for about $5,000, which there's no way in the world. It's a lot of money, but you could never ever get a trip like that for that. So we have a lot of good auction items. There's a trained Labrador Retriever, a puppy, and a fur coat as well. So we also have a ladies' table, so you might want to come in.
So ladies can get that red sticker too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now that's a redfish?
This is a redfish.
This is a redfish.
This is a redfish. And,
delicious.
They are, and plentiful now, and not on the endangered species list as a result of the work done by the CCA.
Now, you were talking about after Katrina, and a lot of terrible things happened during Katrina, but the CCA did some really great things. Let's talk about that.
We did. Through our volunteers in the New Orleans area, we call the North Shore and Orleans chapters, we actually were able to take ownership of the twin span bridge that collapsed between New Orleans and Slidell. As a result, the cement was recovered, the metal was taken out and brought out into Lake Pontchartrain for a 5-acre reef. Which was a great way to say, yes, something bad happened as a result of the hurricane, but now we've got a living reef that will continue to allow people to fish for years to come. We've done 5 of those now. We've got one in Big Lake, we have one in Vermilion Bay, and we actually just learned last month we're going to be building another one in Vermilion Bay. So the fishermen know where it is. It's not going to be secret, it'll be on all the maps, and hopefully the next generation will be able to enjoy the outdoors as much as we do.
And that's just a few examples of what CCA can do and how you can be a part.
Very much so. We have programs in the 4-H with the kids where we talk about wetlands preservation, we talk about resource preservation. We have crab trap. We talked a little bit about the derelict crab trap program. Once again, if you're a boater that and you fish along the coast, you know what happens when you get a crab trap wrapped up in your prop. It's an expensive proposition, no pun intended, but our volunteers go out, and I don't know how many hundreds of crab traps they picked up last year. Once again, just enjoying the resource, but also giving back to it as well.
Well, Mark, we want everyone to give back by going to this event at the Hyman Center. Tell them one more time your website and how to get in touch.
Sure, it's www.ccala.com. You can go to the website. You can get tickets from any CCA member. If you're inclined to get a table of 8, we have tables available. Information's on the website, or the Hyman Center, the day of the event, will have tickets available.
And we'll see you there.